This coin almost ended up in the trash, but instead, it sold for nearly $1 million. A single penny, tossed aside like any ordinary coin, became the center of one of the most shocking stories in modern coin collecting. And what makes it even more unbelievable? This exact 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be hiding in your own pocket change. The story begins in a small town, where a casual collector was flipping through loose coins he'd found in his drawer. Most were ordinary pennies, worn down from decades of circulation. But one coin looked slightly different. At first glance, it was a 1972 Lincoln penny, seemingly normal. But when he held it under the light, the difference was undeniable. This penny was missing a mint mark, a tiny D or S, that would indicate it was made in Denver or San Francisco. Without it, this coin had a story of its own, a story that could change someone's life forever. Collectors were shocked. How could something so small, so easily overlooked, carry such massive value? This wasn't just a penny, it was $1 million miracle hiding in plain sight. Experts quickly pointed out the rarity of no-mint mark coins from this year. Most were destroyed during the minting process, or carefully separated for quality control. Only a handful survived, and the ones that did were pristine, untouched, and destined for fame. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread fast. Dealers across the country began contacting the collector, offering thousands, then tens of thousands, and eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars. Each new offer built the suspense. And then the auction happened. The coin went to a silent auction, and the room was tense. Bidders knew this wasn't just any coin. This was a rare artifact, a tangible piece of history, a ticket to unimaginable wealth. When the hammer finally fell, it shattered expectations. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny had sold for over $1 million. One man's pocket change had become $1 million miracle. And the story doesn't end there. Collectors began scouring every drawer, every coin jar, every loose handful of pennies in their homes. Everyone wondered the same thing: could my next coin be the one? Could I unknowingly be holding a treasure worth more than my car, my house, or even my savings account? This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The absence of a mint mark isn't the only factor. Experts say to check the strike of the coin, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, and the texture of the date itself. Counterfeit attempts are common, and many collectors are duped because they miss these subtle signs. Look closely at the letters, the spacing, and the metal's luster. This is a coin that demands attention, patience, and an eye trained to notice perfection in imperfection. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, and for good reason. Each sale sets a new benchmark. The value isn't static. It rises with every story, every auction, and every media mention. People are not just buying a coin, they are buying a piece of history, a conversation starter, and a potential life changer. Imagine the thrill of finding one in your own collection. You'd feel a jolt of disbelief, then excitement, then a surge of possibility. This is more than collecting, it's treasure hunting at its purest. Every penny jar, every dusty coin roll, every old wallet suddenly becomes a portal to untold wealth. And here's the secret every collector should know: this coin's rarity is heightened by its survival and pristine condition. Any scratches, dents, or discoloration can dramatically reduce its value. That's why the most valuable specimens are those kept hidden, untouched, often for decades. Preservation is as important as discovery. So how can you identify a true 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? First, look for the absence of a D or S under the date. Next, examine the details of Lincoln's bust. Sharpness is key. Third, the coin's surface should have a uniform shine, without evidence of harsh cleaning or wear. Finally, compare it to verified examples online or in collector guides. Small deviations can mean the difference between a valuable coin and an ordinary penny. The excitement doesn't end with identification. Every collector who finds one is instantly thrust into a community of experts, auction houses, and passionate enthusiasts who understand the gravity of this find. And with each verified coin, the legend grows, making it even more desirable and, yes, even more valuable. This coin is proof that treasures are often hiding where we least expect them. What seems ordinary could be extraordinary. What seems mundane could be life-changing. And in the world of coin collecting, a single penny, overlooked, forgotten, or ignored, can be worth more than anyone ever imagined. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a tiny piece of metal in your hand that could transform your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 1994 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable that even seasoned collectors are stunned every time it surfaces. At first glance, it looks like any other penny. Ordinary, overlooked, hiding in plain sight. But the truth is far more extraordinary. This coin carries a hidden story, a secret flaw that was nearly lost to history. A minting error so rare that only a handful exist, and each one has turned its owner into a millionaire almost overnight. In 1994, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies. Most were destined to circulate unnoticed in pockets, wallets, and cash registers. But a small batch of coins from the Denver Mint came out with a subtle anomaly, an imperfection so minor that only the sharpest eyes can spot it. And yet, that tiny detail is what makes this coin worth up to $1.2 million today. Collectors were shocked when the first 1994 Mint Mark penny with this error hit the market. Dealers immediately recognized the significance, and suddenly, what was once a common coin became a life-changing treasure. Auctions turned into battles. Bidders raised their paddles faster than ever, desperate to claim a piece of history. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One man, an everyday collector, discovered the coin tucked inside an old jar of loose change he had inherited. He had no idea of its value, casually examining it on a Sunday afternoon. The penny looked normal at first, until he noticed a tiny misalignment on the mint mark, a detail that most people would have missed. That minor flaw? It was the key that unlocked over $1 million. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins, traveling across states, verifying authenticity, checking every line, every letter, every curve. This is not just about collecting, it's about uncovering a hidden fortune that could literally be sitting in your pocket or drawer. Many people have tried to spot this coin, but they fail to see the subtle differences that make it invaluable. The Denver Mint mark is slightly doubled, almost imperceptible, but once you know what to look for, it jumps out at you. Look closely at the D. See how it's thicker in some areas, almost like it was stamped twice? That tiny imperfection is what sets this coin apart from every other penny minted in 1994. This is also why mistakes can be so expensive. Many coins with errors are destroyed before anyone even notices them. But those that survive, those that slip through the cracks, become legends. And the 1994 penny is the perfect example. Its story is a mix of luck, oversight, and a dash of fate. One moment, it's just another penny. The next, it's $1 million miracle. One man's pocket change became a symbol of hope for collectors everywhere. People who dream of discovering a rare coin in their daily life suddenly saw possibility in every jar of loose pennies. It sparked a frenzy. Online forums lit up with debates, pictures of suspected errors, and theories about how many might exist. The hunt was on. But here's where it gets even more intense. Not every 1994 Mint Mark penny is worth a fortune. Some are ordinary, some are nearly flawless, and some are complete duds. It's the specific doubling, the way the mint mark was struck, that transforms this coin from ordinary to extraordinary. And even experts sometimes disagree. Authentication is crucial. Professional grading services can determine if a coin qualifies, and once it does, the value skyrockets. Collectors who found these pennies quickly realized one thing: this isn't just about owning a rare coin. It's about owning a piece of history. A single penny that survived the mass production process, escaped circulation unnoticed, and now commands millions of dollars in today's market. The story itself becomes part of the coin's allure, driving bids higher and higher at every auction, and the suspense doesn't end there. Some coins have reappeared after decades in private collections, still in near-perfect condition. Others are rumored to be hidden in drawers, attics, and old coin boxes, waiting for someone to recognize their value. Could one of these $1,000,000 coins be in your possession right now? It's entirely possible. So, how do you identify this exact coin and avoid mistakes? First, focus on the D mint mark. Examine it under magnification. Look for the doubling along the edges. It's subtle, but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Compare it with a standard 1994 D penny. Check the thickness of the letters, the placement of the mint mark, and the clarity of the stamping. A professional coin grader can confirm its authenticity and value, but knowing the telltale signs yourself is the first step toward potentially discovering a fortune. Another critical tip: beware of imitations. The market is flooded with fakes and digitally enhanced images. Always verify with trusted dealers or grading services. The stakes are high because we're talking about a coin worth over $1,000,000. One misstep could cost you the opportunity of a lifetime. Imagine this: a coin so small, so ordinary in appearance, could turn a life upside down in an instant. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1,000,000. One lucky glance, one careful examination, and suddenly, history, fortune, and your dreams collide in the palm of your hand. Collectors continue to chase these rare pennies, each discovery sending shockwaves through the coin world. Every auction reveals another story of luck, timing, and sheer disbelief. It's not just a coin, it's a legend, a mystery, and a $1,000,000 miracle wrapped into a single copper disc. So, next time you reach into your pocket, think twice. That humble 1994 D Lincoln penny could be more than change. It could be the key to unimaginable wealth. One look, one careful inspection, and you might just hold a treasure that collectors have spent a lifetime searching for. Remember, the tiny details matter. The doubling, the mint mark, the subtle imperfections, these are what separate a common penny from a life-changing coin. Keep your eyes open, examine every coin carefully, and imagine the possibility. Because the next $1,000,000 discovery could be yours. This is not a dream. This is not a story. This is the 1994 D mint mark Lincoln penny, the penny that proves even the smallest things can carry the greatest value. One man's pocket change became a symbol of hope, wonder, and unimaginable fortune. And now it's your turn. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1,000,000. This coin almost ended up in a jar of loose change, but today, it could be worth over $1,000,000. That's right, a single 1977 D mint mark Lincoln penny has stunned collectors and dealers alike, fetching jaw-dropping sums in auctions and private sales. And the craziest part? Most people don't even know it exists. It all started in 1977, a year that seemed ordinary in American coinage history. The Lincoln penny had been around for decades, a familiar face in every pocket and cash register. But deep inside the Philadelphia Mint's presses, something extraordinary was happening. A tiny, almost imperceptible anomaly crept into just a handful of coins. That anomaly would eventually turn these seemingly worthless pennies into $1,000,000 treasures. Collectors were shocked when the first 1977 D penny surfaced with an unusual mint mark. At first glance, it looked like any other penny. But under careful scrutiny, experts could see the telltale sign that set it apart, a perfectly misaligned D mint mark, strikingly different from the rest. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and why so many casual collectors overlook it. Imagine the excitement. One man found his penny collection gathering dust in a drawer, only to realize that one coin had the potential to change his life. Dealers started scrambling. Auctions became battlegrounds. Suddenly, the quiet world of coin collecting erupted with whispers of a coin worth up to $1.30 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Coins that had been casually stored in jars, wallets, and coin rolls were suddenly re-examined. Hobbyists began to check every penny, turning kitchens, garages, and offices into treasure hunts. Experts warned that even a small scratch, cleaning attempt, or improper storage could destroy the value of these rare finds. The stakes were sky high. The 1977 D mint mark penny is a study in subtle perfection. Its value isn't in flashy designs or precious metals. It's in its rarity and the story it carries. Each coin carries the ghost of a minting error, a whisper of history that only a trained eye can detect. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on coins in pristine condition, sometimes paying six-figure sums in private sales before an auction even begins. Collectors often ask, "How can I tell if I have the real deal?" The answer lies in the details. First, examine the mint mark closely. The D should appear slightly shifted or doubled, unlike standard issues. Look at the strike of the coin itself. Quality matters. Many coins may appear similar but are actually common pennies with minor imperfections. This is where mistakes happen. One false move, and a potentially million-dollar penny becomes an ordinary collectible point. One of the most incredible stories involves a retired teacher who, on a routine trip to the grocery store, noticed a penny in his pocket that didn't look right. Something about the D caught his eye. He sent it to a reputable grading service. Weeks later, the news came. It was authentic, in near-perfect condition, and could fetch over $1 million. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, a testament to patience, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. But even beyond the financial value, this coin represents the thrill of discovery. Imagine holding a coin that almost no one else in the world has. It's more than money, it's history in your hands, a tangible connection to decades of American minting and the hidden stories within every coin press. Collectors also need to beware of fakes and counterfeits. The market has seen counterfeit 1977 D pennies, often made with slightly altered mint marks. The key is to consult grading experts, verify provenance, and never assume that every shiny D is worth millions. Missing these steps could cost you the chance to own a piece of numismatic history. Even seasoned collectors admit that the 1977 D penny is one of the most exciting finds in decades. Auctions that once sold pennies for a few dollars now spark fierce bidding wars. The tension in the room is palpable. Each lot reveals another coin with a slightly off-center D, each worth tens of thousands, or, if near perfect, over $1 million. The final secret lies in patience and careful examination. Every coin collector knows the thrill of sorting through pocket change, looking for a rare die error or unusual mint mark. But the 1977 D penny is different. It's elusive, a whisper in the background of ordinary circulation. Only those who know exactly what to look for will find it, and the reward is beyond imagination. So how do you make sure you're holding the real treasure? Look for the exact placement of the D mint mark. Check the coin's luster and edges. Avoid cleaning or polishing it, as that destroys its value. Compare it against verified examples from trusted grading sources. And remember, this is not just a coin, it's a rare anomaly that could turn your modest collection into a historic fortune. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. That ordinary coin you've been ignoring? It might just be the key to one of the most incredible discoveries in modern coin collecting. The question is, will you be the one to find it before someone else does? This penny almost ended up in a dusty old coin jar, but today, it's valued at over $1 million. A tiny piece of copper, overlooked by almost everyone, hiding a secret that could change someone's life forever. Imagine discovering a coin in your pocket change that could make you richer than you ever dreamed. This isn't just a story, it's real. The 1972 Lincoln penny might look ordinary at first glance. Most people see a common cent and toss it aside without a second thought. But hidden in plain sight, there's a rare variety that has collectors across the country on edge. It's called the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and it's worth up to $1.40 million. How did a coin from an ordinary year become $1 million treasure? The story starts in the early 1970s, when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies for circulation. Every coin was supposed to have a tiny letter marking where it was made, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mark at all for Philadelphia. But during this year, something extraordinary happened. A small batch of pennies escaped the mint without any mint mark, and in some cases, with an unusual die error that made them extremely rare. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins appeared. A man in Ohio, sorting through decades of change inherited from his grandfather, noticed one penny looked different. The D he expected was missing, and the coin had subtle doubling on the date that made it almost unrecognizable to the untrained eye. When he showed it to a local dealer, the reaction was immediate disbelief. "That's not possible," the dealer said. "This is one of the rarest Lincoln pennies ever made." But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. That single discovery sparked a frenzy. Auctions erupted, collectors traveled hundreds of miles to inspect even the smallest possibility of finding another example. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on any 1972 no-mint mark penny, even ones that look unremarkable, because each could hide a subtle minting mistake worth millions. One tiny detail is why this coin is so valuable, and most people miss it. It's not the copper, not the Lincoln design, but a faint anomaly in the die used to strike the coin. A tiny doubling in the numbers of the year, or a slight mismatch in the lettering, can transform a simple penny into a fortune. It's almost invisible unless you know exactly what to look for, and that's why most ordinary collectors pass right over it. The stories of lucky finders are almost unbelievable. One retired teacher in Kansas found a roll of pennies in a box of old keepsakes. Thinking they were worthless, she tucked them away in a drawer for decades. Decades later, a friend with a trained eye noticed one coin was missing its mint mark. That single penny, sitting quietly for over 30 years, sold for nearly $1 million at auction. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life in your hand. The thrill isn't just the money, it's the mystery, the history, the incredible odds that one small discovery could bring unimaginable wealth. Dealers and collectors alike describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime find, and the competition is fierce. Every yard sale, every forgotten drawer could hide the next treasure. But here's the kicker, even experienced collectors can be fooled. Counterfeits and common pennies often mimic the rare features. Some coins have faint die cracks or worn markings that make them look similar to the $1 million versions. That's why knowing exactly what to check is critical. Look closely at the date. The number 7 and the 2 might have subtle doubling or a small raised line. Check the absence of a mint mark carefully. Any hint of a faint D or S disqualifies it from being the no-mint mark variety. Collectors are discovering that patience and attention to detail are everything. The 1972 no-mint mark penny isn't about luck alone, it's about knowing the secrets hidden in plain sight, understanding the rare die variations, and recognizing the tiny clues that make a coin extraordinary. Each one is a story waiting to be told, a chance for a life-changing discovery. Even now, dealers whisper about coins that may be sitting in someone's pocket or forgotten drawer. They could be in a jar, a wallet, or even a coin collection gathering dust. And if you know the details to look for, you might be the next person to uncover this hidden treasure. So how can you identify the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for yourself? First, focus on the year, 1972, and ensure there's absolutely no mint mark above the date. Then, examine the date closely for subtle doubling, especially around the numbers 7 and 2. Finally, inspect the edges and lettering for any faint anomalies in the strike. These tiny details are what separate a common penny from a coin that could sell for millions. Remember, this is not just a story about money. It's about the excitement of discovery, the thrill of holding history in your hand, and the possibility that a single coin could transform an ordinary life. Every collector dreams of it, but very few experience it. And yet, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a hidden treasure, a piece of history, and a doorway to a fortune that almost no one sees coming. If you've ever dreamed of finding life-changing wealth in your own pocket change, this coin proves it's possible, and it's waiting. This coin almost ended up in a dusty drawer, forgotten among loose change, but today, collectors are talking about it as if it holds the power to change lives. Imagine holding a penny in your hand worth over $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Yet this tiny 1977 D Lincoln penny has shocked the coin world, leaving dealers scrambling and collectors holding their breath. It all started in an unassuming mint batch in 1977. Most pennies from that year went unnoticed, clinking through pockets, toll booths, and cash registers. But a rare few were struck with a mistake so subtle, so invisible to the casual eye, that decades later, it would spark auctions reaching jaw-dropping sums. Collectors who stumbled upon this coin could hardly believe their luck. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. What makes the 1977 D penny so extraordinary? It's all in the details. The mint mark, the placement, the tiniest of die errors that slip through the U.S. Mint's scrutiny. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other penny. But experts know that this coin carries a rare misalignment, a minting anomaly that turns ordinary copper into a treasure worth up to $1.50 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One collector, digging through decades-old coins at a local flea market, found a penny that glimmered differently under the light. He noticed a slightly double D mint mark, and something about the surface, the shine, the depth of the strike, made him pause. He took it to an expert, and what they discovered would make headlines in the rare coin community. This was not just any penny. This was the coin that could change a life. Collectors were shocked. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these rare finds. Stories emerged of coins sold for tens of thousands of dollars, then hundreds of thousands, and finally breaking through the $1 million barrier. People who once ignored pennies in their change were suddenly searching every jar, every drawer, every forgotten pocket, hoping to stumble upon their own miracle. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The D mint mark on this penny isn't just a letter, it's a signature of rarity. Slightly off-center, with a faint doubling, and in perfect uncirculated condition, it is the hallmark of a coin collector's dream about for a lifetime. Even the slightest wear can cut its value dramatically. That's why condition is everything. One scratch, one ding, and $1 million coin could be reduced to mere hundreds. Some auctions made history. In a dimly lit hall, under the murmur of an eager crowd, this penny sold for sums that most people could only imagine. Bidders fought tooth and nail, hearts pounding, palms sweating. The final hammer echoed like thunder, over $1 million exchanged for a coin no bigger than your fingertip. One man walked away a millionaire, all from a coin that had spent decades as ordinary pocket change. You might think this is just luck, just a fairy tale, but every detail of this penny tells a story. From the minting process in Denver to the misaligned die that created this rare mint mark, to the moment it slipped into the hands of someone who recognized its value, it's a story of chance, timing, and the eyes to see what others overlook. But here's where most people go wrong. Many collectors think any 1977 D penny might be worth a fortune, but that is not true. Only those with the precise misprint, the flawless copper, the right strike, and the correct minting anomalies qualify. Experts warn that counterfeits and minor imperfections abound. You must know exactly what to look for: a slightly double D, crisp lettering, no corrosion, and an unmistakable uncirculated luster. Anything else, and you might just be holding an ordinary penny. Imagine the possibilities. That jar of coins on your counter, that pocket full of loose change, one of them could be the next 1977 D Lincoln penny worth over $1 million. One moment, it's forgotten copper in your hand. The next, it's the key to life-changing wealth, a coin that tells a story far beyond its tiny size. The difference between millions and nothing could be a microscopic detail invisible to most people. And the real kicker? These pennies are vanishing from circulation. Every day, fewer remain untouched, fewer remain in perfect condition. The clock is ticking. Every jar opened, every old coin dug out of a drawer, could be a treasure chest waiting to reveal its secrets. One lucky finder could transform their life overnight. This is why collectors are obsessed, why dealers chase shadows, and why the story of this coin has become legendary. One man's casual discovery, one tiny minting mistake, one moment of recognition. This is what makes a 1977 D Lincoln penny worth up to $1.5 million. It is more than a coin. It is hope, excitement, and the thrill of the hunt all rolled into copper. So how do you know if you've found the real deal? Look for the D mint mark carefully. Examine the strike, crisp, precise, and slightly off-center in a way that sets it apart from ordinary pennies. Check the surface for flawless luster. Avoid common pitfalls. Tiny scratches, circulation wear, or corrosion can destroy its value. Only a meticulous eye can identify this once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Collectors who recognize it instantly feel a jolt of excitement. Dealers who see it know they're holding something historic. And the rest of us? We dream, we search, we imagine the possibilities. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but it's now worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand, a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that collectors across the country are willing to pay more than some people make in a lifetime just to own it. That coin is the 1999 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that stunned the entire numismatic world. It all begins with a simple, ordinary penny, the kind we all overlook every day. Most people wouldn't give a second glance at a 1999 Lincoln cent, flipping it over, dropping it into their cup holder or piggy bank. But hidden in plain sight, there's a secret so profound, it turns pocket change into a life-changing treasure. In 1999, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies. Each one was supposed to have a mint mark, a tiny letter telling you where it was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But a few pennies slipped through the cracks. Some were struck without any mint mark at all. At first, it seems like a small, almost insignificant oversight. But collectors know better. A missing mint mark can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth $1 million. One lucky collector discovered their 1999 no-mint mark penny in a jar of change. At first glance, it looked just like any other coin. But something caught their eye, the absence of the tiny letter beneath Lincoln's portrait. Curiosity turned into disbelief when they brought it to a dealer. Their casual curiosity had just turned into a multi-million-dollar revelation. Dealers were shocked, collectors were scrambling, and the news rippled through the coin world like wildfire. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. This coin wasn't just rare, it was practically a one-of-a-kind marvel. Experts realized that very few of these pennies had survived in perfect condition. Most had been spent, lost, or discarded, meaning only a handful of collectors could ever hope to own one. The market value skyrocketed almost overnight. Suddenly, a coin once worth a few cents could sell for over $1 million. The secret of the 1999 no-mint mark penny lies not only in its rarity, but also in the story of its creation. The penny was accidentally produced in a period of transition at the Philadelphia Mint. Machines malfunctioned, quality control missed the anomaly, and thousands of coins went into circulation, completely invisible to the average eye. Only someone who knows exactly what to look for can spot this treasure. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The absence of the mint mark is subtle, but to a trained eye, it's unmistakable. The surface must be pristine. Any scratches, wear, or corrosion reduces its value drastically. That's why the highest graded examples of the 1999 no-mint mark penny are valued at an extraordinary $1.6 million. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle because he recognized what most people would never notice. Collectors are rushing to get their hands on these pennies, scouring jars of coins, banks, and even old collections stored in attics. Auctions have sold these rare pennies for staggering amounts, sometimes fetching higher bids than vintage gold coins. Every sale, every new discovery, adds to the mystique. Each penny carries the thrill of a hidden treasure waiting to be found. Imagine the drama. A coin that started its life in someone's pocket, passed from hand to hand, tossed in cash registers and coin jars, now commanding the attention of the wealthiest collectors in America. That ordinary penny had been transformed into an extraordinary fortune. And yet, the mystery of how many exist keeps dealers and collectors on the edge of their seats. Here's how you can identify this exact coin if you think you might already own one. First, check the date, 1999. Then look carefully below Lincoln's bust. If there's no D or P mint mark, you may have discovered a rarity. Examine the surface. It must be in exceptional condition. Scratches, dings, or discoloration can make all the difference. Compare it against verified examples online or in collector guides. And most importantly, never assume a coin isn't valuable just because it looks ordinary. That's exactly how these pennies have slipped under the radar for so long. Even experienced collectors can miss it. Some think they're holding just another coin, unaware that their 1999 no-mint mark penny could be worth more than a house, a car, or even a lifetime of earnings. This isn't just about money, it's about uncovering history, witnessing a rare event, and holding a piece of the numismatic world that few will ever see. Collectors were shocked when news broke of recent auctions. One single coin sold for an amount that could change someone's life overnight. Stories of people finding these pennies in jars of forgotten coins make you wonder, could your drawer, your old wallet, or your grandfather's coin collection be hiding a treasure worth over $1 million? This coin represents the thrill of discovery, the magic of chance, and the reality that sometimes, the most ordinary objects hide the most extraordinary secrets. Every 1999 no-mint mark penny carries a story, a potential fortune, and the excitement of what could be just around the corner. So the next time you empty your pocket change or open an old coin jar, pay attention. Look closely. Hold the coins to the light. Examine the tiniest details. One misstrike, one missing mint mark, could be the difference between cents and millions. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but instead, it became the stuff of legend, fetching nearly $1 million, and now, experts say it could be worth up to $1.7 million. It's a tiny, unassuming penny, just like the ones in your pocket change. But beneath its copper surface lies a secret so rare that collectors around the world are still scrambling to find it. It all started in 1980. A year like any other for the US Mint. Millions of pennies rolled off presses every day, destined for cash registers, piggy banks, and coin jars. Among them, one batch carried a hidden anomaly that would eventually transform a humble penny into a life-changing fortune. The coin carried no mint mark, and at first glance, it looked completely normal. But that normalcy was exactly what made it dangerous, because the secret was almost invisible. Collectors were shocked when the first example surfaced. One amateur numismatist discovered it tucked away in an old box of coins, forgotten for decades. He noticed a tiny difference in the lettering on the date and the overall design, a subtle misalignment that no casual observer would spot. It was a minting error, but not the kind most people know about. This was a precision mistake so rare that it occurred in only a handful of coins that year. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Auction houses and dealers immediately realized the potential. The penny, worth just a cent for decades, suddenly had millions of dollars of intrigue surrounding it. Bidding wars erupted. Collectors who had spent their lives chasing rare coins were left speechless, unable to believe that a single 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could hold this kind of power. The story of one particular collector became legendary. He found the coin hidden in a jar labeled "Old Pennies" in his grandmother's attic. At first, he didn't notice anything special. But when he brought it to a coin show, an expert glanced at it and gasped. In that moment, a seemingly ordinary coin turned into $1 million miracle. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on it. Suddenly, this one man's pocket change became the most talked about coin in the United States. This penny isn't just valuable because it's old or rare. It carries a story, an almost mystical anomaly that makes it one of the most sought-after coins of our generation. But many people still miss the critical detail that separates the $1 million version from a regular 1980 penny. You have to know exactly what to look for. The alignment of the letters, the spacing of the numbers, and the faint doubling along the rim. These are the tiny clues that make the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth over $1 million. Even seasoned collectors admit they almost overlooked it. Many thought it was just another normal 1980 penny. But the experts knew the truth. This coin was extraordinary. And the story doesn't end with its discovery. Each time one surfaces at auction, the frenzy is renewed. People travel from states across the U.S., hoping to find one hidden in jars, drawers, or old collections. The excitement is palpable because the stakes are unimaginably high. A single coin can transform a life forever. And yet, the allure isn't only about money. It's about history frozen in copper, a tiny artifact of a specific moment in time that survived unnoticed for decades. When you hold one, you're holding a piece of a secret world, one where a simple penny can hold the weight of a fortune. Every scratch, every curve, every faint imperfection is a mark of authenticity and rarity. This is why identifying the coin correctly is absolutely crucial. First, check the date, 1980, with no mint mark. Then examine the lettering. Look for faint doubling, especially along the Liberty and the numerals in the date. Inspect the rim closely. Tiny deviations there are a key signature. And never assume a coin is rare just because it looks old. The $1 million coins are incredibly specific, and mistakes in identification can cost thousands, or even millions, in lost opportunity. The frenzy has only grown over the years. Dealers who got in early have turned decades-old finds into fortunes. New collectors are entering the field with one dream: discovering a 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could change their lives. Some coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice their value. Imagine opening a drawer, a dusty old coin jar, or a forgotten piggy bank, and seeing the date 1980 glint back at you. The odds are slim, but not impossible. Every coin has a story, and every story has the potential to become legendary. This tiny, unassuming penny could be the key to a life-changing discovery. So, if you're searching, handle every 1980 penny with care. Study the details. Trust your instincts. And remember, this isn't just about money. It's about uncovering a secret hidden in the most ordinary places, about being part of a story that has stunned collectors and dealers alike. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but today, it's worth up to $1 million. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper in your hand and discovering it could completely change your life. That's exactly what happened with the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the United States. It all starts with a tiny minting error that most people don't even notice. In 1984, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, but a handful were struck without a mint mark, making them one of the most sought-after mistakes in modern coin collecting. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other 1984 penny. But for collectors and dealers who know what to look for, this coin is nothing short of miraculous. Collectors were shocked when the first examples started appearing in circulation. Ordinary people had unknowingly carried around what would later become million-dollar treasures. One man found a roll of pennies while cleaning out his old drawer, thinking they were worthless spare change. But as soon as he realized what he had, the story went viral in the coin world. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on it, and auctions skyrocketed with unimaginable bids. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. These coins were so rare that even experts struggled to authenticate them. Every detail mattered: the absence of the mint mark, the way Lincoln's bust struck on the penny, even the tiniest scratches or blemishes could make or break its value. One misstep could turn $1 million find into a mere collector's curiosity. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Unlike ordinary pennies, the 1984 no-mint mark penny was produced during a year when every coin was expected to have a Philadelphia P mint mark or a Denver D mint mark. The missing mark was a result of an extremely rare error during production. These errors are so few that every single example is tracked, documented, and auctioned as if it were a priceless artifact. Imagine standing at an auction, the gavel hovering above a stack of coins, and this penny sells for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. That's exactly the level of excitement this coin generates. And yet, for decades, it could have been hiding in someone's pocket change, completely unnoticed. Dealers and collectors alike are always hunting for more. Because unlike older coins, which can sometimes be restored or cleaned to improve their value, the 1984 no-mint mark penny is valuable in its pure, untouched form. Any attempt to alter it could erase millions of dollars of potential value in an instant. That's why experts are willing to pay top dollar, sometimes over $1 million, for coins in pristine condition. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Some examples of this penny have been discovered in rolls of coins that have been sitting untouched for decades. Others surfaced during estate sales, or even in the coins people use for parking meters and vending machines. It's a coin that could literally be in anyone's wallet right now, and nobody would suspect its worth until it's carefully examined. So, how can you identify this coin? Look closely at the area beneath the date. If there is no mint mark where it should be, and if the coin is in high-grade condition with sharp details on Lincoln's profile, you may have stumbled upon a treasure. Common mistakes people make include confusing it with worn-down pennies where the mint mark has faded. That's why authentication by a professional coin grader is essential. Only then can you know for sure if you're holding a potential $1,000,000 coin. Every auction and discovery adds another layer to the legend of the 1984 no mint mark penny. Some have sold privately for 7 figures, changing lives overnight. Ordinary people become millionaires simply by taking a closer look at what they thought was pocket change. And yet, most Americans continue to overlook the possibility that they could be holding history in the palm of their hand. One man's pocket change became a $1,000,000 miracle, and the coin world is still buzzing with excitement. Collectors who missed the early discoveries are now hunting frantically, checking rolls of pennies with a renewed sense of urgency. The suspense is almost unbearable, because at any moment, another one of these rare coins could resurface and shock the world. If you ever come across a 1984 penny, don't dismiss it. Take the time to examine it closely, especially for the missing mint mark beneath the date. If it matches the characteristics of the rare no mint mark version, you may be looking at a coin worth up to $1,000,000. And for anyone lucky enough to own one in near-perfect condition, the sky's the limit. This coin is more than just copper and zinc. It's a story of hidden treasures, rare mistakes, and fortunes that change overnight. Every curve of Lincoln's profile, every gleam of metal, tells a story that collectors dream about. And every discovery reminds us that extraordinary value can be hiding in the most ordinary places. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1,000,000. Don't overlook it. Don't dismiss it. Because in the world of rare coins, sometimes the most unassuming finds are the ones that rewrite history and make millionaires out of ordinary people.